go, team on three. 1, 2, 3, team.
The voice of Brett Favre, who leads the 11-2 Packers into St. Louis this afternoon. The Packers have won the toss. Jeff Wilkins will get things started. Warren Robinson, Tramon Williams back deep for Green Bay. The Rams with a record of 3-10. They started the season 0-8, have won 3 of their last 5. We are underway in St. Louis. Opening kickoff taken at the 6 by Warren Robinson. Cuts to his left, across the 30, the 40, and finally forced out of bounds at the 48-yard line. A 43-yard return. Quentin Culberson finally forced him out of bounds. Tremendous starting field position for Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you know, one of the things that Green Bay has done a great job this year is improving things that they weren't very good at last year, and that's a classic example right there. The return game was very average, to say the least, and this year, Will Blackmon with a touchdown return for a punt last week, and now great starting field position this afternoon.
Packers start with their Big 5 package. Pass is caught by Robinson. Takes it into Rams territory, out of bounds at the 46. Gain of 6, setting up second down and 4. An explosive Packers offense. Ranked 3rd in the National Football League. Ryan Grant, the league's leading rusher over the last 7 weeks.
And you saw Green Bay come out with 5 wide receivers on that opening play. And when you get those situations, Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, is going to blitz this afternoon.
Again, a 5-receiver set, including the tight end Donald Lee. High snap, penalty markers, movement prior to the snap, which hit Favre in the face mask.
And Chris Draft, number 52, one of your blitzers.
Offside. Defense number 52 in the neutral zone to snap. A 5-yard penalty that results in a first down.
Okay, when you go against Brett Favre, you have to understand that he's extremely good with his cadence. Now, if you're going to bring pressure and you're going to have this real fluid defensive front and have guys moving around and trying to approach on that neutral zone, you've got to understand how good Brett Favre is at using his cadence.
But this is exactly what the Rams want to do. They want to go and disrupt things, not let him feel comfortable back there, because he will pick him apart if he gets comfortable back in that position.
Empty backfield from the Rams 41. Again, pressure. Favre steps up. He lobs one up. The penalty marker. Pass intended for the wide receiver, Ruvel Martin.
You heard Tony talk about it. They're all coming. They're going to bring pressure. They're going to do everything they can to make Brett Favre feel uncomfortable. Very agile for a 38-year-old, though. Gets that ball down to Ruvel Martin. Ruvel Martin is a guy. He doesn't get as much attention.
Defense number 34, 5-yard penalty and a first down.
Ruvel Martin doesn't get as much attention as Donald Driver and James Jones and Greg Jennings and that other group, even Warren Robinson, but I think this guy is a guy you better watch out for. He's got all the skills necessary to be a big-time receiver in the NFL.
First carry of the game for Ryan Grant. And Grant takes it down to the 28-yard line. Gain of 8.
The offensive line for the Green Bay Packers does a great job of getting these guys on the ground. Watch all these defensive linemen. The offensive linemen for the Green Bay Packers are going to cut them, get them on the ground. That makes all these cutting lanes on the backside. That's why the ground game will stay effective. Those guys on the defense need to stay on their feet and pursue the ball.
2 tight ends in the game for the Packers on 2nd and 2. Favre, the slant to Martin for a first down.
Great job at the point of the catch. You can see right there, Fakir Brown, Ruvel Martin, both battling for the possession. Ty goes to the offense, but I just think he's got a lot of the skills necessary. Big physical guy on the outside. Look at the release on the line of scrimmage there. Look at the strength at the point of the catch. I mean, this Green Bay wide receiver group, to be able to put 5 guys out on the field as talented as they are, very impressive.
Grant down to the 17. Grant acquired by the Packers in early September from the New York Giants, where he spent the last 2 seasons. He was on the practice squad 2 years ago, injured reserve last season, and what a revelation he has been in Green Bay.
And you would think that he had some experience in this zone blocking scheme at some point throughout his career, because it's been such an easy transition for him. He said this is the first time he's ever run in this type of blocking scheme. So that's a credit to him as being a very, very good running back.
Grant up the middle, down to the 15-yard line. James Hall made the tackle.
Well, there's been nobody better in the NFL over the last 7 weeks than Ryan Grant. He runs with great pad level. He's got good vision. Not a whole lot of wiggle. If somebody's in the hole, he's going to take you on. But he has been just a diamond in the rough for this Green Bay Packer offense. The one big glaring need they had early on was a very consistent running game, and Ryan Grant has provided that for the Green Bay Packers.
Favre out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 6. Packers have to get to the Rams' 9 for a first down. Favre pump fakes, he throws. The catch is made by Vernon Morency, who picks up a first down, takes it all the way down to the Rams' 6 before he was tackled by Chris Draft.
Strange formation with 2 guys in the backfield, Moose.
Yeah, interesting formation. You see Donald Lee right there with Vernon Morency, but this is what Brett Favre feels like their offense is the best at. That short, medium passing game that they developed early in the season to replace that run game.
Grant back on the field, 1st and goal from the St. Louis 6. This is Grant inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line.
Gain of 3 yards for Green Bay. 2nd and goal. Rams 3.
2nd and goal from just outside the 2. Packers started at their own 48 following the big return of the opening kickoff by Corin Robinson. Lee shifts into the backfield. On 2nd and goal, Grant. And Ryan Grant stopped just short by Victor Arianju and Corey Chavis.
And it's not an easy running scheme to be a part of. The zone blocking scheme, it takes time. There's a lot that goes into it. I think sometimes when people talk about that great Denver running game for years, it was all about the offensive line, and you could just stick somebody in there and they'd get 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards. That's not the case. I mean, it's different. It challenges you in different ways. You've got to run the correct course. You've got to have patience, and Ryan Grant understands that.
3rd and goal from the Rams 1. Here's Grant, and he walks it in for a touchdown.
But Tony talked about it when he showed you the guys on the ground. You've got to stay on your feet and be able to move. That's what this offense is about. You're going to have a running path, a course that you need to stay on. Now watch Ryan Grant. The aiming point is going to be the inside leg of the tight end. You stay on that course. Press it, press it, press it. When you feel the soft spot, you can come back. But there's not going to be a lot of cutback in this running game.
The Green Bay offensive line is not letting them get any penetration up front. That's the problem here on the goal line. On defense, you need to get penetration.
6th touchdown of the season for Grant. He has reached the end zone in 4 consecutive games. Good start for the Packers.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane.
Ryan Grant. And the Green Bay Packers out to a 7-0 lead. Brett Favre, 3 for 3, 25 yards on the drive. A look at Derek Stanley, a Wisconsin native making his NFL debut, activated by the Rams from their practice squad this week, and Stanley takes a hard hit.
Welcome to the NFL.
Welcome off the practice squad.
Aaron Rouse made the tackle, a 19-yard return by Stanley. Ryan Grant moments ago into the end zone, celebrates on the sideline. 7-0 Green Bay. Moments ago, Steven Jackson with a hug for ex-teammate Ryan Pickett, his teammate at Oregon State, Nick Barnett. Rams start from their own 23. Here's Jackson up the middle, and it's Barnett, his old college teammate, who makes the tackle after a gain of 6.
Nice going and politicking, saying hello to your teammate, and then running them right over. That's always nice, right, Moose?
Yeah, trying to establish a little, hey, take it easy now. We're old schoolmate buddies, we're old teammates. I'll see you in a few minutes. I'll be right back. I don't know, Goose. So I could never do that. You slip into that mode once the game started. I was in my own little world.
Old little world. They don't talk to those guys after the game. Say sorry about the loss.
Off the play fake, Bulger in trouble, still on his feet. Down he goes, back at the 24-yard line. It's Barnett with the sack.
That's the pressure.
Well, they've struggled with it all year, and I can't tell you how important it is for an offensive line to build chemistry. And this group by St. Louis has just never had that opportunity. They've had guys in and out of the lineup all season long. They're starting to get a little bit of continuity there. They're starting to keep some guys in the lineup, and they're making a little bit of progress. But Green Bay is going to challenge them all day in their pass protection.
So Nick Barnett with a tackle and a sack on the Rams' first 2 plays from scrimmage. 3rd down and 8. Rams have to get to the 33. And the pass intended for Isaac Bruce. Broken up beautifully by Charles Woodson.
I challenge a lot of people to find a better cornerback tandem in the NFL than Al Harris and Charles Woodson. It's straight man-to-man. There's Al Harris at the top, Charles Woodson down there in the slot. These guys are going to be aggressive. They know that this is a timing-based offense. They know that there's landmarks. They know the ball comes out on time. When they recognize routes, they're going to jump them. They're going to undercut them. There's the potential for Charles Woodson or Al Harris to take one back to the house for a touchdown this afternoon.
Will Blackman is back deep for the Packers. He took one back and also scored a second touchdown on a fumble recovery. Blackman, the reigning NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. No chance for a return this time. It took a Packers bounce, and once again, Green Bay will have terrific field position. Brett Favre and the Packers already with a 7-0 lead, and they will start from their own 44-yard line.
Verizon Wireless.
Back in St. Louis, another short field for the Packers, Darryl.
This is a season where everything is going against St. Louis, and it can be something as simple as a punt landing and bouncing back your direction and giving the Green Bay offense another great start to a drive.
3 receivers set. Packers start from their own 44. Favre firing on first down, and the catch is made by the rookie out of San Jose State, James Jones. A gain of 21 yards.
They're bringing a ton of pressure, Goose, but this Green Bay Packer line is doing a great job. There comes your slot releasing. There's your route, James Jones, man-to-man. But look at the job this offensive line does. Watch all the guys coming. They're crossing, linebackers shifting. Nobody's near Brett Favre. He's got an open throwing lane to James Jones.
Favre has started the game 4 for 4. He's hit 4 different receivers. 1st and 10 from the Rams 35. Off the fake to Grant. Favre gets rid of it. Grant loses the football, and the Rams have recovered. Brandon Chiller with the hit, and the rookie out of Nebraska, Adam Carricker, with the recovery.
Chiller does a nice job of recognizing that little, I don't know if it was a screen pass or a little toss. Comes back and gets that, punches that ball right out.
I put his helmet right on it, Goose, when he came in to make that tackle.
Packers head coach Mike McCarthy has challenged whether Ryan Grant actually had possession before he fumbled.
I think he did.
Only question is if the ball looks like it's still moving there when he goes to bring it into his left arm, and it hits at the same time.
I tell you, Brandon Chiller makes a heck of a play right here because there's a lot of open field in front of Ryan Grant right there. He does a good job of getting away from the offensive lineman who was his responsibility. Watch up here in the top corner. You're going to see him fight around the backside. Look at all that open running room in front of Ryan Grant. Brandon Chiller probably saved potentially a touchdown.
Tony, is Chiller aiming for the football with his helmet, aiming to knock it loose, or is he just making the tackle and happens to make contact with the football?
No, I don't think he's aiming for it. It's hard to see the ball. You got to react really quick. I mean, it happens in a second, but it does a nice job of wrapping up. And usually it's the second guy, Kenny, that comes in that goes either tries to punch the ball out but it's hard to go and aim for the ball to try and punch it out like we saw on that.
Referee Ron Winter, very appropriately named considering all of the snow that we've gotten here in St. Louis the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of playing outdoors, but today would have been a tough one.
After review, the ruling on the field stands is the catch and fumble. Green Bay is charged with their first team timeout. First down, St. Louis.
Yeah, but you made a good point too, Tony. The fact that you might as well challenge that. That's a big play right there. I mean, you've got great momentum. You're up 7-0. You did exactly what Brett Favre asked you to do before the game started. You heard him in the huddle with his guys. Hey, let's get out on them fast. Let's take care of business today. You know, get that first round bye. Stay in the hunt for home field in the NFC playoffs.
Jackson. Steven Jackson, hard to bring down. Gains 5 on first down as we check in for the first time today with Curt Menefee in Los Angeles. Curt?
Well, Kenny, Cardinals and Saints in what is basically an elimination game for playoff possibilities, and New Orleans strikes first. Beautiful pass from Drew Brees to Marcus Colston. It's 19 yards and a 7-7 ball game right now in the first. Let's send it back to Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Thanks, Curt. Both teams 6-7. Saints coming off the win over the Falcons on Monday night. This play blown dead.
False start. Offense number 70. A 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
That's on the left tackle, Alex Barron. Mark Bulger returning today. Missed the last 2 games with a concussion. Brock Berlin started the game last week against Cincinnati. Gus Frerotte coming back from a shoulder injury. Frerotte has started 3 games this season. He is also available today.
Yeah, we talked about Al Harris and Charles Woodson, very good corners. They're going to be up there on the line of scrimmage, making it difficult for Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce to get their releases.
Another penalty marker as Jackson takes it out to the 39 on 2nd and 10. Scott Linehan, second-year head coach of the Rams.
Holding. Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty and a first down.
That's on the number 1 draft pick out of Tennessee, Justin Harrell.
Well, we didn't see much of that when I played. I mean, them offensive linemen, they get their hands inside, and as a defender, you want to go and stop him too. You're allowed to grab a little bit of cloth, but those officials are really aware of those defensive linemen and stopping the offensive linemen from getting to the second level nowadays.
Especially Ron Winter and his group. I talked to Leroy Glover before the game, and that was the information that Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, had given to his guys. You got to understand, these guys throw a lot of defensive holding flags, so you got to be careful out there this afternoon. There's our first one, goes against the Green Bay Packers. They must not have gotten that memo.
The toss to Jackson. Coaches in the National Football League, guys, do track tendencies of the officials.
They really do, and there'll be some discrepancies. You'll see a group that calls more pass interference, more defensive holding, whether it's on the outside with your cornerbacks and guys in the secondary, or like this group here, inside. These guys really keep our focus down inside, making sure that you're not preventing those offensive linemen from getting to that second level.
I don't know what seeing Steven Jackson in the backfield if I want to hold an offensive lineman, Moose. I need 2 hands on that guy. The size of him is unbelievable. It's almost like a linebacker playing running back.
Here's Jackson on 2nd and 3, has a first down, takes it to the Packers 43 before he was finally tackled by Nick Barnett and Atari Bigby.
Yeah, but for a big guy, Tony, he's got great feet. Watch this cut. You've got a blitz that's timed perfectly by Brady Papinga right into the A-gap, and look at him just jump to the other side, find that open running lane. For a big guy, he has got great feet, and then look at the strength. I mean, Nick Barnett's kind of got him exposed, takes a big shot, and then you get the big smile. When you hit a guy like really, really hard and he just smiles and gets up and slaps you on the shoulder pads, that's when you know you're in for a long afternoon.
Long afternoon.
Teammates at Oregon State, 1st and 10 from the Packers 43. First catch of the game for Torrey Holt. And Holt takes it down to the 33-yard line, picks up a Rams first down.
The reason that Brett Favre was so adamant about Green Bay getting off to a good start, taking care of business, is because this Rams offense has great skill players. We've been talking about Steven Jackson, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce. They got Randy McMichael playing tight end, Mark Bulger. I mean, they have a good skill set. That offensive line, they can keep it together this afternoon, get some running lanes, do a good job in protection. This offense has a lot of playmakers.
First carry today for a playmaker, Antonio Pittman, the rookie out of Ohio State, who bowls over Charles Woodson. Perhaps Pittman thinking about that Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, and he gains 13 yards.
Little payback. Good patience there by Antonio Pittman. Lets that Green Bay Packer defense over pursue, finds a nice backdoor cut, gets right into the secondary.
Pittman, a fourth-round draft pick by the Saints, released. Signed with the Rams, two-time 1,000-yard rusher at Ohio State. Jackson back in. First and 10 from the Green Bay 20. Bulger to the end zone. Incomplete. It was intended for Holt. Al Harris on the coverage.
Yeah, he's going to wave it on. You know, come on. We're going to be seeing this all day long. I'm going to be on that line of scrimmage. I'm going to be pressing your guys. You want to keep throwing? I mean, to play corner in the NFL, I mean, you have to have no fear. You are out there on an island the majority of the game. And Charles Woodson and Al Harris both love being in that situation.
We talked about the Rams' offensive line and the problems they had, but Mark Bulger can really help them with doing exactly what he's doing, getting rid of the ball early and making quick decisions.
Jackson on second and 10 takes it down to the 17 before he was forced back by Aaron Campman.
When you see a quarterback standing back there holding the ball, trying to read, go to his first, his second, even his third receiver, you know that you're going to have extra time as a defensive lineman. And you don't want these Green Bay defensive linemen knowing that they can get to him. When he drops back and he gets rid of the ball quick, it frustrates you. It's almost like having a three-step drop as a defensive lineman. You know you're not going to get there, so you don't know when you're going to get that 5 or 7-step drop. It's frustrating as a defensive lineman.
Tony on third down and 7. Rams spread the field, 4 wide receivers. Bulger saw something he did not like, calls timeout with 2:35 remaining. First quarter, Packers leading the Rams here in St. Louis, 7-0. Back in St. Louis, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Packers leading 7-0. Rams facing a third down and 7 inside the red zone from the Green Bay 17. Jackson, the lone back, Bulger out of the shotgun. With time, he throws. The catch is made for a first down by Dane Looker. Only his 6th reception of the season. The Rams with a new set of downs after Looker picks up 8.
Well, you're going to get, you see the stack release at the top. They've got both of those on each side. It's a 3-on-2. You've got help over the top. Good route called right there for Dane Looker. A little whip route. You break to the outside, come back in underneath.
Play of the drive for the Rams. 4 wide receivers, Jackson in the backfield. Jackson tackled from behind by Barnett after picking up 4.
Those defensive linemen had a key on that last play. The depth of the running back, when he's more than 5 yards, when he's at 6 or 7 yards, you have to be alert for the run play. And that's exactly what happened on that play. He was about 7 yards deep. Steven Jackson comes up with the draw, but those defensive linemen were not fooled.
And it was the exact same formation as that play before, Tony. So they had a huge discrepancy in his alignment pre-snap.
3 tight end set, second and goal. Bulger looking end zone, pump fake, throws, touchdown, Torrey Holt.
These guys are very, very good route runners. They've been in this system for a long, long time. There's your press coverage again, inside and then out. Look at that. Al Harris is leaning, leaning, leaning. He's going to the skinny. The ball's coming out. Nope.
Mark Bulger throws a nice ball, Hummus.
He really does.
Wow.
Really does.
It's the 43rd touchdown pass from Bulger to Torrey Holt during their careers. So the Rams capitalize on the Green Bay turnover. And with just over 1 minute remaining in the first quarter, we are tied at 7. Rams tie the game at 7. Torrey Holt's 7th touchdown this season, set up by the fumble forced by Brandon Chiller.
And you cannot do anything to keep a 3-10 team in a game like this. On paper, Green Bay's 11-2, St. Louis is 3-10. Mike McCarthy's biggest challenge all week was getting his players ready to play this team. You can tell them the situation they went through early in the year, the injuries. You have to realize who they've got on the offensive side of the ball. This is not your typical 3-10 team. If they get on a roll offensively and their line plays well, it's going to be a tough game for Green Bay.
Corin Robinson broke a couple of tackles. Robinson across the 40, midfield. Corin Robinson, there's a flag. Robinson stumbles and is down at the 11-yard line. There's a flag at the 35.
That is just a great individual effort by Corin Robinson, and that's exactly what he was looking at right there as he's being helped up to his feet. He's sitting there looking back downfield, seeing that flag.
He took it at the goal line, brought it back 89 yards.
But probably ran like 139.
Holding. Number 38 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty called on Tramon Williams, so the Packers will still start in Rams territory at the St. Louis 45.
Watch this individual effort. I mean, you're coming up, there's where it's designed to go. Oh, we got to break away from that guy. Let me get to the outside. Then you find your hole up the middle. Great effort right through there. Eric Bussey's trying to punch the ball out. You feel him from behind you. Don't let him do it. And then you are so tired that you just got nothing left in the tank.
So Robinson credited with a 66-yard return when you factor in the penalty yardage. And the Packers, again, with terrific field position. Here's Grant, who fumbled on his last touch. Grant gains 4 as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Hey, tell the Packers to pay attention to this. For their entire 31-year existence, we've heard that the Bucs have never run a kickback for a touchdown. We won't hear that anymore. Michael Spurlock, 90 yards on the score. It took 1,865 times, but the Buccaneers have finally scored on a kickoff return. Back to Kenny Moose and Goose.
All right,
Going to be in Trivial Pursuit, that stat there?
How bad has this week been for Atlanta? Their coach walks out on them, and now they give up that record to the Buccaneers.
Here's Donald Driver, first down and more. Driver stays in bounds. Wow, and is finally tackled at the 4-yard line by O.J. Atogwe.
Well, there's the reason that this group of wide receivers leads the NFL in yards after catch. The play is just starting. They are extremely athletic. They are all very strong. If you're going to come up and just try and punch the ball out, you're going to give up a lot of free yards to this group of wide receivers.
37-yard pass play. First quarter comes to an end. 7-7 in St. Louis. St. Louis, first and goal for the Packers from the 4-yard line. The toss to Grant. Grant looks to turn the corner. Knocked out of bounds by Brandon Chiller after a short game. So 1 quarter in the books, Darrell, and Brett Favre now 98 yards away from breaking Dan Marino's NFL record for career passing yardage.
Well, he's going to get it done this afternoon unless something was to happen and he was to be injured similar to the Dallas game and he couldn't finish it. But I think what you see is when you watch this group of wide receivers, they're not just explosive guys down the field. If you can get the ball to them short, they can turn a short pass into a long gain. All 5 of these guys are great when you get the football in their hand.
Packers lead the league in yards after the catch. Favre pump fakes. Now he throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Donald Lee with his 5th touchdown reception in the last 6 games.
That's placement of a ball, just putting it in a spot where a defender cannot get to it.
Well, just knowing the situation, you know, the defender's got his back turned. Donald Lee is looking right at Brett Favre. So as he steps up, makes a little business decision here. I could probably run it in, but you know what? I don't think so. I'm just going to zing it out here. I mean, Fakir Brown has got kind of his back turned to Donald Lee. He's taken out of the equation.
Mason Crosby adds the extra point. The Packers back on top. Brett Favre is perfect today. He's 7 for 7, 90 yards, and a touchdown. 439th career touchdown pass for Brett Favre, his 25th this season.
It's just amazing what he will have at the end of his career in terms of passing records in the NFL. And, it was interesting talking to him. The one that means the most to him, though, is the consecutive starts. And I agree. I think that's the one that is just mind-boggling to anybody who's played in the NFL.
And today is number 271, including postseason. Derek Stanley brings it out across the 15-yard line.
I just get a laugh when you think back to last year, Moose, and all the people who were talking about, he needs to stop, he needs to retire, he's done, he's coming towards the end of his career. And those people right now are eating their words.
Well, I was one of those people who, when he made the statement that this is the most talented group I've ever been associated with as a Green Bay Packer, he was trying to convince himself that, I want to stay, but I got to convince myself that we've got a shot to be competitive, because you're talking about teams in 96 and 97 that went to the Super Bowl, the 96 team going and beating the New England Patriots. So that's a pretty high bar to set, but hey, he's making me into a believer. This is a very well-rounded, complete team.
Rams start from the 16. Jackson tripped up, gains 4. We met with Brett in the preseason prior to the Packers game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he told us at the time, I'm not sure about what the end result will be this season. We can lose 10 or we can win 10.
His big question was the chemistry. How do all these young guys come together? They're the 3rd youngest roster in the NFL, and how do we all blend together? Some of the older guys, some of the younger guys, the experience that we have, and that has come together, I think, a little bit quicker than Brett anticipated.
2nd down and 6. Bulger swings it out to Jackson, and Jackson spins for a first down. Finally tackled by Brady Papenga after a gain of 16. We check in once again with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, just to let you guys know, the rest of the world's not playing in the Dome today. Look at Cleveland. This is Buffalo punter Brian Moorman. I don't know if he just lost the ball in the snow. Kicks it through the end zone for a safety, and Cleveland, in a game they need to win, leads it 5-0. Back to Kenny, Moose, and Goose.
Goose, you don't like the environment inside a dome. How'd you like that?
Well, it's nice in here, no jacket, no hat, no rain, freezing rain. My ears are nice and warm. It's not bad.
If you were doing the Cleveland game, there'd be all these kids in the stands going, Mommy, look at the snowman. He's moving down on the field.
Exactly.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 96. Moving in the neutral zone to cause the offense to false start. The 5-yard penalty remains first down.
That's on Michael Montgomery. Well, the weather today in St. Louis, outside 25 degrees, 6 inches of snow, small leak in the roof.
It's not totally dry down here, Moose.
Yeah.
A couple drips coming down.
Little drip, drip, drip.
Need an umbrella, Tony?
I'm good, Kenny.
Bulger in trouble, throws it away. He was under pressure from Montgomery.
That's a smart play right there by Mark Bulger. If you don't have it, just get rid of the ball, come back to the huddle, come up with something else. You don't want to go and throw the ball downfield. You got good defensive backs. You want to just go get rid of it, let your offensive line get some nice momentum, some confidence that they can go and protect you and go back to the huddle.
And you see the coverage right there by Al Harris, and I mean, the way they play on the outside with these 2 corners, making that quarterback hold it for an extra half second, a little tick longer, allows those 4 guys in the defensive line to get to the quarterback.
2nd and 5. Pittman runs right into the arms of a waiting Nick Barnett.
And one of the things an offensive line that hasn't played together a lot will struggle with are plays like that. Nick Barnett is hitting it on the run. They're not adjusting. They haven't been able to play together for a long time and understand how to pick up these. And Nick Barnett likes to backdoor that play a lot. Aaron Campman fighting off the block. Ooh, boy. Have to keep an eye on him. That was close to him, hurting his knee.
3 wide receivers set for the Rams. 3rd down and 6. And Bulger's pass for Torrey Holt, and he made the catch. Nice catch by Holt, and he picks up a Rams 1st down.
Really nice catch. I mean, that ball was not thrown very accurately by Mark Bulger. Torrey Holt, your still guy is going to go out, come quick, back in, down low. Heck of a catch.
See how the veterans go when they get that ball, they bring it to their body as quick as they can and cover it up.
Now 4 wide receivers, empty backfield. Holt in the slot to the left. Bulger over the top. And the catch is made by Drew Bennett, the former Tennessee Titan. And he picks up 8 to the Packers' 46.
You can see how once this offense gets going with this timing, and with Mark Bulger and some of these guys that he's worked with for a while, when they're in the lineup, it can get on a roll.
Green Bay's defensive line, not really able to get a lot of pressure with the timing throws that Moose talked about. But the one thing they are doing is getting their hands up, Moose. I say, if you keep doing that, you're going to get one of those tip balls, and that could turn into a turnover.
2nd down and 2. Jackson. 1st down and 4. Steven Jackson takes it all the way for a Rams touchdown. 46 yards.
All right, there's going to be a key block on this play, but it's not going to be anybody wearing the blue and gold. It's going to be by your umpire. Watch Nick Collins, number 36. He's going to try to come back to the backside to make the play. There's the big block by Roy Ellison, the umpire.
What vision Jackson has of making that backside cutback, Moose. I mean, that's 4 holes. Not many running backs can go and cut back 4 holes. Last guy that I played against was Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders cut back 8 holes.
5th touchdown of the season for Steven Jackson. And the Rams have tied the game at 14. Jackson with a 46-yard touchdown run. He had runs of at least 50 yards, Darrell, in each of the last 3 games, but ironically did not rush for 100 yards in any of those games.
And Tony's talked about how big Steven Jackson is, but you can see he has the ability to break away and have long touchdown runs.
Wilkins keeps it on the ground. Corey Robinson had 2 big returns earlier, but not this time.
Maybe.
And make you eat your words, Kenny. Almost.
Well, he had a 43 and a 66-yard return earlier. This time he is held to 20.
Well, they're working on Charles Woodson right now on the sideline for the Green Bay Packers. He's in pursuit of Steven Jackson. Watch 21 come into your picture right here. And it looks like somebody lands on top of him. They're checking his knee, but I didn't see anything where his knee, what a kind of, you'd be worried about a sprain. You wonder if it's just that knee coming down on the artificial turf and then somebody landing right on top of that.
His teammate Nick Collins landed on top of Charles Woodson. This is the worst starting field position for the Packers. But it's not too bad from their own 32. Ryan Grant. And he's met by Will Witherspoon, Tony, who you spoke of in our open.
Yeah, Will Witherspoon, he's all over the field. A lot of speed, and Will linebacker. They want to blitz him, move him around. He's in coverage. You see him right here. Goes. I'm sorry, he's the other guy. A lot of guys out there. Does a nice job of just reading, coming upfield, not over pursuing, not panicking, going and wrapping the block up.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down at 11. Draw, Ryan Grant. And again, it's Witherspoon. Gain of just 1.
Well, here we go. This offense of the Packers has been moving up and down the entire game up until this point. The only thing that stopped them was the fumble by Ryan Grant. Now, your offense has that big run by Steven Jackson. It kind of gives you a shot of adrenaline as the defense takes the field. The crowd is back into this game. This is the type of game that the Packers did not want to have to deal with this afternoon.
It's the first time down here on the field you're getting momentum right now from this Rams team. But they were pretty flat early, but right now they're a little fired up, like you said, Moose.
So is the crowd. 3rd down and 10. Packers have to get to the 42. And they will not, as Morency is tackled by Fakir Brown about 2 yards shy of a first down.
And that's really only the second positive for this defense this afternoon. Brandon Chiller, a great individual play to knock a ball loose earlier in the game, but as a unit, as a group that went out and took the field and played well, that's their first series that they really played well on consecutive plays to slow this offense down.
First punt today, John Ryan. Wow. First Packers punt. And he put a little too much on it. Bounced into the end zone for a touchback. So the Rams will start at their own 20. How do you like that hair, Tony?
Nice.
Rookie defensive lineman Justin Harrell being driven to the Packers locker room.
Well, that's got to be a concern because that's an area that this team is starting to get hit a little bit. Johnny Jolly's out. Colin Cole is out. Now Justin Harrell. They had a great rotation inside early in the season, but that injury bug has hit Green Bay's tackle position pretty hard.
Penalty marker thrown as the Rams were coming to the line of scrimmage. Looks like the Rams only had 11 men in the huddle.
There is no foul on the play for 12 men in the huddle. There were 11 players in the huddle.
Well, Tony said a couple of minutes ago, when he was trying to draw the circle around Will Witherspoon, there's a lot of guys on the field.
But you got to, you can't have 12.
Apparently the officials had some problems counting the number of Rams in the huddle. Now we're set. Antonio Pittman in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 20 as Bulger's pass could not be gathered in by Pittman. So Steven Jackson will check back into the game.
And we saw him go into commercial, kind of shaking his head of hair. Al Harris is out here with the dreads going, so we saw who it was that had the longest time between haircuts. Al Harris, just by a year. 8 years, Goose. 8 years without a haircut.
You save a lot of money on haircuts.
A lot of money.
Good style, though. I might get into that one.
Instead of a style statement, maybe it's a good way to manage your finances.
It's easy to be identified on the field.
Here's Steven Jackson. He told us that he just might get his haircut soon. It has been 7 years. Al Harris cut his hair in '99. He was with the Eagles, and Andy Reid had just taken over, and he felt that he might make a better impression on Andy Reid. But he said Andy didn't really care, so he grew it back.
Nugget alert! Nugget alert! Kenny. I love you, Kenny. That would look good on the guys.
That has come back into favor. We've seen a couple of the Mohawks getting around this year, too.
Colors, everything. Colors are nice.
3rd down and 8. Bulger out of the shotgun. And Bulger is under pressure. Rams will punt it away.
Desmond Bishop did a nice job of avoiding the blocks up front and getting pressure.
But they brought a safety in right behind him too, Tony. Watch Atari Bigby. He's going to come into that gap too. Follow Nick Barnett right into the middle. A little bit of a delay. Okay, he's blocked. Now I've got a clear shot. You challenge Mark Bulger and his ability to anticipate and find those windows through the defensive line.
That'll make you get rid of the ball faster.
Oh, you see a guy like Atari Bigby coming clean, straight up right up the middle.
Donnie Jones punting for the second time. Taken at the 40 by Blackman. And again, the Packers with terrific field position. 16-yard return by Blackman. Back in St. Louis, Kenny Albert, along with Moose and Goose, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. The average drive start for the Packers, their own 49-yard line. Brett Favre perfect today. He's hit 7 different receivers. 8 for 8, 98 yards. Starting in Rams territory for the second time. Pass is caught by Jennings. But he is met immediately by the rookie out of Tennessee, Jonathan Wade, a loss of 3 yards on the play.
Well, you see all that pressure up on the inside, and you try and get that little bubble screen into your wide receiver's hands and let him make a play, but Jonathan Wade came up. A good play behind the line of scrimmage. There goes Greg Jennings losing some ground for that bubble screen. Now James Jones has got to see Jonathan Wade coming. He's got to get a helmet on him.
So Favre now farther away from Marino than he was prior to that play. Jennings lost 3 yards. Second and 13. James Hall was in the Packers' backfield prior to the snap.
9 for 9 now, Ken.
Offside. Defense number 96 unabated to the quarterback. A 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Ball the former line. You're right, Tony. 9 for 9, 8 different receivers.
Well, Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator for the Rams right there, he wants these guys to pressure. Tony's talked about the Rams going to pressure the Green Bay Packers when they get into certain formations and personnel groupings, but you've also got to realize who's calling the shots at quarterback. I mean, he's already got them a couple times with the hard count.
Second and 8 following the penalty. From the Rams 43. Off the fake to Grant. Favre to the near side, nearly intercepted by Ron Bartell. The pass intended for the tight end, Donald Lee.
Good coverage by Ron Bartell. Donald Lee, pretty good route runner for the tight end spot. There's a nice job undercutting that route. Just a little bit late getting out there by Brett Favre. Donald Lee actually ran a good route, had a little bit of separation there. He needs to get a little bit further out front.
That's the first time that the Rams did not bring pressure when the Green Bay Packers had 3 wide receivers out. First time since kickoff.
And the first incomplete pass thrown by Favre. Favre on 3rd and 8 fires. The catch is made by Jones, and the Packers get a great spot from the officials.
A great spot. Okay, he's got it just inside the 35. Green Bay trying to hurry up and get this play off before they can get a look at the spot.
Forget it. That flag came out quickly, I think, there, Moose.
I don't know. It's got to be at least on the other side of that 35-yard line.
Challenge ruling on the field in the spot relative to a first down.
But again, now you've got to have a good replay that shows that. I mean, it's got to be conclusive.
And in the replay booth, they'll be watching the same replays as we will.
And Ron Winter, who will take a look at the replays on the field. You're right, Tony. Any replay that Ron Winter has the opportunity to look at are the same replays that go out on Fox.
There's a good angle right there. Now, he doesn't have possession until he's on the other side of the. He's more like at the 35.5-yard line than he is at the 34.5-yard line.
So it will be either a new set of downs for the Packers or a 4th and less than 1. If this goes in the Rams' favor, would you go for it? Or attempt a 52, 53-yard field goal?
Boy, you're right on that cusp. Your kicker's in a little bit of a funk right now. I might go for it. You know, I've got confidence in Ryan Grant. I've got confidence in my offensive line. You've got to be able to make those types of plays. But Green Bay has been really, really poor at 3rd and 1, 4th and 1s this season.
I'll tell you what, watching the kickers in warm up and right before the coin toss, I mean, the ball was all over the place. It was, Mason Crosby just, not right on. I don't think he's dialed in. I think Mike McCarthy knows that also. So that might help in his decision.
Mike McCarthy taking a look at his play chart just in case this call goes against the Packers.
Well, I think it is, because the length of time that we're seeing with this replay, not only, okay, we had the spot wrong, but where is the spot? Okay, where were the chains before that because we moved them? What was the time on the clock? A lot of things that they've got to work through. So the length of time lends me to believe that this is going to be spotted differently.
Ron Winter chatting with the side judge, Tom Hill. And we have a decision.
I don't know, quick jog, Moose.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a catch beyond the 35-yard line. First down, Green Bay. St. Louis is charged with a timeout.
Yeah, that jog when he came out was very confident looking, and they stuck with the call.
Surprised. I mean, I think that, as he's reaching back to make that catch, there's really no way that he could be inside the 35-yard line.
So Tony now judging the body language of...
Like playing cards, you got to read them. Got to read that body language.
Tony knows how to read people.
He knows how to play cards.
So a new set of downs for the Packers. Here's Ryan Grant. And Grant gains 3 down to the 32-yard line, tackled by Adeyanjo.
It was nice to meet Ryan Grant yesterday. I mean, interesting year for him. I mean, he's with the New York Giants through training camp. He's on all your big four on the special teams: kickoff coverage, kickoff return, punt protection, punt coverage. He's been mixed into the third down package. Thinks he's got his job in New York, and then he gets a phone call, packing his bags, heading to Green Bay.
And his uncle was on the other line telling the whole family he's going to be in New York. He made the team. You had to stop him short from that phone call and say, "Listen, I'm going to be in Green Bay." Favre wasn't too happy with the weather conditions up there, though.
Five Tony on 2nd and 7, complete to Donald Driver. Tackled at the 26 by Ron Bartell. And Ryan Grant with 400-yard games the last 7 weeks. And he got to change his cell phone number.
Somehow they found out his cell phone number. You hear from those long-lost friends from back in the elementary school days when all of a sudden you have a run like Ryan Grant has had over the last 7 weeks.
We had people calling and claiming they were relatives, asking for money, plane tickets, game tickets.
Hotel rooms.
Favre on 3rd and 1. Overthrows Vernon Morency.
Now see, there's the Achilles heel right now of this Packers offense are those situations right there. The 3rd and 1s, the 4th and 1s. They've got to get that figured out before they get into the playoffs. It costs you 4 points here, the difference in a touchdown or a field goal. Out in the middle of the field, it's going to cost you another set of downs and an opportunity to keep the ball in your offense's hands. They've got to get that one fixed, Goose.
44-yard attempt.
So a 44-yard attempt for the rookie out of Colorado, Mason Crosby, who leads the NFL in scoring. Crosby from 44, it is good, just inside the right upright. So the Packers, thanks in part to the challenge, call on the field upheld, and the Packers regain the lead over the Rams with just under 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Well, the BCS Bowl Bash is coming up in just a couple of weeks on Fox. LSU and Ohio State in the national championship game. The Sugar Bowl January 1st and the All-State National Championship game on January 7th as we check out all 5 games. Darryl, you and I, along with Coach Barry Alvarez, will be heading to Miami for the FedEx Orange Bowl on January 3rd.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Kansas, one of those teams that's had a great season. I had a similar year like that at Syracuse. Nobody expected you to have that type of season, and we were actually out in Lawrence, Kansas on Friday visiting with them, and everybody really excited to head down to Miami.
Darren Stanley loses the football. There's a penalty marker. It was knocked loose by Charlie Pepra and fallen on back at the 10-yard line. Richard Owens, the former Viking,
During the return,
with the recovery.
holding number 96 of the return team. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
You saw the field position graphic on that last drive by the Packers, starting in great field position. St. Louis on the other end of that spectrum. Charlie Peppra, Derek Stanley's got to tuck that ball away. He's running away from our camera, and you could see how loose that was to his body. He's got to understand, at this level, these guys come after the football when they tackle you.
Derek Stanley making his NFL debut out of Division III Wisconsin Whitewater. The Rams start from their own 5-yard line. Jackson forced back. Justin Harrell back on the field, suffered a thumb injury earlier. Good news for the Packers.
It really is. I mean, that was getting thin down inside at the tackle position. You've got a couple of guys who are out. They had a great rotation early in the season, but good to see Justin Harrell back on that field.
Defensive lineman don't go out just because of a thumb loose.
Now we'll get. He was on a cart. He was on a cart with a thumb injury, Goose. We'll get into that later.
2nd and 9. Bulger out of the end zone, firing downfield, and the catch is made by Isaac Bruce. His first reception today. And Bruce takes it all the way up to the 43-yard line, a 37-yard pass play.
Now you wondered how long they were going to wait to chest Charles Woodson. A little double move on the outside. But remember, he went off earlier in the game with a bruised knee. They really haven't tested that knee out deep down the field. On that one, they throw a little double move along with that to Isaac Bruce.
But great touch on that ball from Mark Bulger, too, Moose. I mean, that ball was just laid out there, put in a beautiful spot. And they got good continuity between those receivers and Mark.
From the 43, the give to Jackson. Terrific second and third effort as Jackson takes it into Packers territory with a gain of 9 before he was finally tackled by Michael Montgomery. So Steven Jackson over the 100-yard mark for the second time this season, 12th time in his 4-year NFL career, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Jackson with a 46-yard touchdown run earlier. Rams on the move. They started at their own 5-yard line. So with 2 minutes remaining in the first half, it's the Packers by 3.
I ride through the city backsides. I see the stars come out of the sky. Yeah, the bright and hollow sky. You know it looks so good tonight.
Entertaining first half here in St. Louis. Jackson, first down.
Steven Jackson, the ball carrier.
At the top of the broadcast, I talked about this offensive line and how many different groups they've had together, and it's impacted what the entire offense has had to do. They've had to pare it down. You see right there, 9 different starting combinations this season, the most in the NFL. It affects your running game. It affects your pass protection. With the group they have on the field today, this is their 3rd consecutive start together. It's been mainly the right side of the offensive line that's really been hit hard. So this group's starting to build a little bit of chemistry and some continuity up front.
Bulger to Jackson. And again, it's Nick Barnett who has been involved in so many plays here in the first half who makes the tackle.
Well, he should be. And, there's a lot of people that feel he should have been involved in a lot more last week in that game in Cincinnati with Brock Berlin getting the start. So, you've got Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, and you've brought Drew Bennett in, so you've got a good group on the outside, but you've got a real good running back, and you've got to find him a way to get him 24, 28 touches every week.
Bulger on 2nd and 9, and the catch is made by Drew Bennett at the Packers 35. Gain of 10, another Rams first down.
There's Charles Woodson right there trying to undercut that route. We talked about the corners. The corners were going to play this aggressive. Nice ball placement by Mark Bulger. Charles Woodson was not going to be able to undercut that pass and get an interception.
Rams with 1 timeout remaining, 47 seconds to go, second quarter, trailing by 3. 1st and 10 from the Packers 35, movement prior to the snap.
You got
False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
Randy McMichael, he's got Nick Barnett, he's got Atari Bigby walking down. We saw that blitz earlier where they stacked it and came right up the gut. So you're out there, you can see him coming, and sometimes the hard count works against you. Here they coming up here, and Randy McMichael is ready to get out, get downfield, and try and help out his quarterback.
Following the penalty, now 1st and 15. Bulger steps up, he fires, intercepted following the deflection by Atari Bigby. And Bigby brings it back to the 41-yard line.
You have to make that catch. I mean, your quarterback does a nice job stepping up, buying some time. You've got a wide receiver open in the middle field. Drew Bennett, 83. Look how open he's going to be in this zone. Settle down, make the catch. Look at all the field around him. Deflects off. Atari Bigby, very athletic because he's coming up to put a hit on Drew Bennett on that play. Doesn't even break stride on the deflection.
3rd interception of the season for Bigby, who was one of the big surprises back in training camp. Not only made the team, but took over the starting job.
We got to find out how long it's been since he had a haircut.
Check that out. We'll be in Green Bay for the final regular season game in 2 weeks. 37 seconds remaining in the half. Packers with 2 timeouts. And they are in Rams territory. Jennings steps out of bounds at the 46 after picking up 14.
Now, this is going to be a big indicator for this Green Bay Packer team. I mean, you're kind of in a dogfight right now. And you've had momentum and given it back with some turnovers and some big plays given up. Now your defense makes a play. I mean, that was a huge turnover at that stage of this first half. Can your offense now take that ball down and with only 31 seconds get maybe 7, but at least 3 points going in at halftime?
Packers have 2 timeouts remaining. 4 receivers set from the Rams 46. Jennings heading for the sidelines, out of bounds after picking up another first down, out of bounds at the Rams 35.
The Rams are definitely changing up what they did early with bringing pressure with 3 wide receivers. Now they're only rushing 3 defensive linemen, playing the zone on the backside and trying to go and play the outside, trying to keep everything inside to keep that clock running.
Jennings twice has been able to get out of bounds, saving the Packers their 2 timeouts. From the Rams 35, Favre's pass was behind Donald Driver.
Little chess match going on the line of scrimmage right there, and they just couldn't get on the same page. Donald Driver walking back with a big smile. I mean, St. Louis is kind of stepping in and out of a blitz formation. They were at the line of scrimmage for quite a while, and they never quite figured out exactly what Jim Haslett, his defense, wanted to do.
22 seconds on the clock. Jennings split to the left. Driver in the slot. Jones split to the right. 2nd and 10 from the 35 of the Rams.
Your true one-on-one is going to be down at the bottom of the screen.
Pass is intercepted by O.J. Otagwe, his 6th pick of the season.
Yeah, down at the bottom of the screen, you had your true one-on-one. But up at the top where that ball was thrown, you had safety help over the top. But here's James Jones down on the bottom. He's the one with the true one-on-one on the outside. At the top of the film, or top of the field, where the ball was thrown, there you see Oshimago Otagwe. He was back. It was a 3-on-2 to that side. Fakir Brown does a nice job of preventing Greg Jennings from getting back in there to make a play on the ball.
Only the 12th interception thrown by Favre this season.
But that's a big one right there, because you're letting St. Louis hang around. Your defense gave you an opportunity to get down the field and at least get this game going into halftime at 20-14, possibly 24-14. You do not want this Ram team in this football game in the 4th quarter.
So the Rams head to the locker room, down by just 3. Packers committing 2 first-half turnovers. The Visa Halftime Report is coming up after these messages. Rams by 3, a rare mistake at the end of the half by Brett Favre, but he is just 50 yards away from eclipsing Dan Marino.
Under no control, broadcasting for you to let go. This is your station under no control. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, enjoy the show.
We welcome you back to St. Louis, a 3-point lead for the Packers. The big news in the NFL today, the Buccaneers finally return to kickoff for a touchdown, but here in St. Louis, Darryl, a 3-point Green Bay lead. They've also committed 2 turnovers in Rams territory.
They really have. They've had great field position the entire first half. Really didn't take advantage of that, and you do not want this Rams team in this game in the fourth quarter. They've got some explosive people on the offensive side of the ball, so Green Bay missed a big opportunity at the end of that first half after Atari Bigby made that interception.
Tony, what did you learn during halftime?
Well, I talked to Mike McCarthy a little bit coming out of the tunnel there, and you guys all right? He just talked to me and said, listen, we have to make adjustments. We knew we were going to get pressure, but not as much as we've seen. We have to get the ball out quicker. We have to do sight adjusts. The receivers have to be on the same page with Brett. And on defense, the biggest thing is tackling. You know, we're getting to the hole, we're hitting them, but we have to wrap up and gang tackle, but we have to get him down. Steve is just running over them right now.
All right, Goose, let's check out the first half fantasy numbers. Brett Favre, 13 of 17. Hit 8 different receivers. Steven Jackson over 100 yards on the ground. And Torrey Holt with a Rams touchdown. Derek Stanley stopped shy of the 20-yard line by Brandon Jackson. So the Rams will start the second half on offense. Mark Bulger, 9 of 15 for 100 yards, 1 touchdown. 1 pick. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com.
You see that big discrepancy in the running game. St. Louis with 114, Green Bay only 24. They got off to a good start with Brian Grant, but really concentrated on the passing game the rest of the way. The turnovers 2-1. Field position has been another big thing. We've talked about Green Bay, their punt return, their kickoff return, giving their offense positive field position, but their coverage units too. This is a couple times now that St. Louis has started inside the 20 after a kickoff.
Steven Jackson on first down takes it out to the 24 before he's tackled by A.J. Hawk. Big first half for Packers linebacker Nick Barnett. Led all players with 8 tackles and also added a sack.
He's the key to that defense in there in the middle. You saw him a couple times make some nice plays, being able to find his way through those open lanes between those offensive and defensive linemen, make some plays on Steven Jackson in the backfield.
Second down and 6, Jackson. Jackson hit at the 27 by Atari Bigby and Grady Kapinga. So a 3rd and 2 coming up for the Rams.
Colin Jenkins, number 77, their right defensive end, played that very well. Got some penetration, kind of lunged at Steven Jackson to try and trip him up, but slowed him down enough, allowed that pursuit from the inside out to meet Steven Jackson at the corner.
Jackson with a 46-yard touchdown run in the first half. It's tied the game at 14. 3rd down and 2. Bulger out of the shotgun. Swings it to Jackson. And although A.J. Hawk was climbing up his back. Jackson able to pick up a Rams first down.
And not only A.J. Hawk climbing up his back, but also a good catch on the back shoulder by Steven Jackson. We've seen what he can do as a runner, but pretty nifty catch right there.
See what happens to the defensive lineman when he hits the line, but that secondary, they do not want him running free in that secondary. Those little guys will be getting run over by Steven Jackson.
Early third quarter. Packers by 3. Penalty markers.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That's on the left tackle, Alex Barrett. A reminder that Packers can clinch a first-round bye today with a victory here in St. Louis and a Seattle loss. Seahawks are in Carolina. No score in the third quarter.
That's a shocker. Carolina's had a tough year. A lot of injuries to that team, just like this Rams team.
Following the penalty, first down and 15. Bulger's pass is caught by Bruce, who tiptoes up the sidelines before stepping out at the 37 after gaining 10.
Well, they had a blitz on with A.J. Hawk, and he's coming to the inside, but just that little play fake holds him, actually makes him redirect. He's going to come to the inside here, but then he's going to think, okay, they're going to run, so I'm going to come out that way. But meanwhile, Mark Bulger's going to boot to the outside. You can see how that flow affected everybody down to the inside.
Second down and 5. Jackson takes it out to the 38-yard line. Michael Montgomery made the tackle.
Getting a little penetration on this opening series this half, Goose.
Yeah, they've been coming upfield. Ryan Pickett got a nice penetration right there up the middle. Just keeps going, got a rip, comes upfield, keep going, slows him down, and then the rest of the guys go and finish it up. That's what it's supposed to look like. You make that running back go and make a decision and cut right now. It's a lot easier for those linebackers to get their angles on it.
Pickett, a first-round draft pick of the Rams back in 2001. Empty backfield, third down and 4. Rams have to get to the 42. And they will not, as Bigby comes up with his second interception off a deflection in this game.
Bigby is all over the field. You see him on tackles. He's always around the ball down here, guys.
He's got some nice hands, too. I mean, the one at the end of the first half, he's coming up to make the big hit and adjusts on the move. This one, the deflection again. There you see the quick burst onto the ball, able to go down, dig that one off the turf.
Nick Barnett wrapped up Torrey Holt, and it bounced into the arms of Bigby, who comes up with a 2-interception game for the first time in his NFL career.
We talked about field position earlier, guys. This isn't bad either.
From the Rams 36, Tony, empty backfield for Brett Favre and the Packers. Pass is caught by Driver, nearly broke free, but Ron Bartell able to grab hold of the back of his jersey, brings him down after a gain of just 4.
And that was going to be a big challenge for this Rams defense. Tony mentioned that Mike McCarthy wants his defense to do a better job tackling Steven Jackson, giving him a lot of extra yards after contact, and that was Jim Haslett's concern going up against this wide receiver group. They're very good after the catch. Ron Bartell got lucky on that one. Donald Driver was just about to pull away.
This is the third drive the Packers have begun in Rams territory. They come away with 10 points on the previous 2. Favre over the top. Intended for Driver, and Favre took a hit.
This is one of the things that I think people have seen. You want to give guys in the middle, but then you want to twist. You want to twist here, and then you want to have your edge rushers up there to contain Brett Favre. Let's get pressure on the edges, force him to step up, but we're going to loop guys in the middle. Dallas did this to Green Bay's offense and had a tremendous amount of success with it while Brett Favre was in the lineup. That's something that Green Bay is going to have to get better at, because teams have seen the vulnerability with passing games inside between the guard, center guard.
Third down and 6. Packers have to get to the 26. Favre with time. He throws for Driver, and Bartell got a piece of it.
Donald Driver in the slot, gets a clean release off the line. Brett Favre's got him, just has to get a little bit more air under that into the center of the field, a little bit more. Let Donald Driver run underneath it. Corey Chavis was out of position, the guy who was supposed to give you some help over the top.
So Mason Crosby will attempt a 50-yard field goal. He's hit 2 of 4 from 50 plus. Crosby from the right hash sends it straight through. His third field goal of at least 50 yards during his rookie season in the NFL.
Well, credit John Ryan, the holder, on that one. That was not a great snap. He's got to reach out and get that ball down.
Blu-ray. Your choice is clear. The future is blue.
You think that hat was inspired by Steven Jackson's hair?
Looks like the trend going around here.
I never got the memo. I didn't get the memo about dreadlocks or mohawks coming back into favor.
Got Atari Bigby right there. He hasn't cut his hair in 11 years, guys. That's a long time.
Tony's all over the hair situation.
Envious.
Derek Stanley on the return, takes it out to the 21-yard line. Desmond Bishop made the tackle on special teams. Tony told us moments ago that Atari Bigby's last haircut was in 1996. Tony very upset that we did not credit him with a nugget alert.
Yeah, they only give it to you, Kenny.
Well, in all reality, you know, it is Tony's nugget, but it's Tony West's nugget. He's the guy that did all the legwork to get it. So you're stealing nuggets down there, Goose. There's the guy who had the nugget.
Are they all Kenny's? When Kenny has his nuggets, are they all Kenny's all the time?
No, they're not all his. Here, Mike, put me on. I'll show you. They all come from over here. This stack of material. There's no haircut information on your flip chart. There's all Kenny's nugget material right there. He gets them on his own.
And who are all them guys around Kenny?
His nugget helpers. They're like Santa's elves.
I always share the credit, Tony. And we thank Tony West for his assistance in questioning Atari Bigby as to when his last haircut took place.
And Tony West's last haircut was this morning before the game.
Thanks, Tony.
You look good in dreads.
He agrees. Tony, we give you full credit. Talking to you, Goose.
Thank you.
Nugget thief.
Third down and 1. Jackson. And, you know, when we met with players from both the Rams and the Packers the last couple of days, Goose not only very concerned with asking about when the last haircuts took place, but how they clear the snow off their driveways in both Green Bay and St. Louis.
Yes. Are you a shoveler or a snowblower guy?
Yeah, I think the art of shoveling snow has gone away. We've missed that art for some reason. My son will not shovel the driveway. It's unbelievable.
He's gonna
maybe they should make a PlayStation or a video game for shoveling snow.
I think it'll be called Siragusa 08. Here's Bulger. First down, penalty flag as Bulger throws it out of bounds.
Got a big hold on the...
Personal foul, grasping the face mask.
I haven't had the face mask.
Offense number 72, 15-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's on the left guard, Milford Brown.
The good thing about it is Milford, as soon as he did it, he went and pointed to himself. He helped the official out, said it was me, I'm sorry, but no, he didn't try to hide from it. That was nice.
So the Rams forced back to the 17. Now, it was not a scientific poll, but I think the general consensus was that most of the Packers who we spoke to, Tony, paid someone to get rid of their snow.
They're outsourcing.
Somebody in the organization making a lot of money plowing snow for those guys.
First down at 25. Here's Jackson. Looks to turn the corner. Knocked out of bounds by Nick Collins. And how about Scott Linehan, the Rams head coach, He was up in Minnesota with the Vikings. Gets hired down in Miami, sells his snowblower. Figured he would not need it in Miami, and here he is a couple of years later back in the Midwest.
I think more scarier than that was the fact that down in Florida they don't sell four-wheel drive vehicles, so the vehicle he came to St. Louis in was only two-wheel drive, and he unfortunately lives at the bottom of a hill. So some tough sledding for him from time to time.
No need for it down in South Florida. Second down and 21. Off the play fake. Bulger in trouble. Nick Barnett yet again with his second sack of Bulger today.
He got poked in the eye, guys.
Well, remember, Tony, he sat out the last couple of weeks because of the concussion. So, you know, he said he felt better the end of this week, but it might not take a whole lot. You know, Nick Barnett didn't get helmet or a shoulder pad on him, but he does get his arm on Mark Bulger's head. But I tell you, he didn't look too good coming out. You know, I think you're right, Tony. I think it was his eye. I think he got a finger inside that face mask.
Yeah, he was trying to go and get his hand in there to rub his eye, but it looks like he's all right now.
Ironically, it was Barnett who was poked in the eye last week and was very upset with Jeremy Newberry of the Raiders.
Yeah, but not accidental last week in Nick Barnett's opinion.
Bulger to the rookie out of Rutgers, Brian Leonard. Charles Woodson was right there to make the tackle.
All right, there's a clinic reel for you, Goose. I mean, that is textbook by Charles Woodson.
That's it. Keep your feet running, run through the block, wrap it up. Let's watch him right here. Just goes and keeps running. Watch his feet. Keeps his feet moving, you know? When I coach the little kids back home, that's one thing you try to tell them is don't ever stop your feet when you're making a tackle. Run through the guy. Wrap him up and run through him and get all that pressure going one way and you knock him back. Perfect tackle.
So the Packers again should have terrific field position following the Jones punt. Taken on the run by Blackman in Rams territory. Then he cuts it back. And Blackman tackled from behind by Eric Bassey at the Rams 44.
Here it is one more time. Textbook tackle. Run through and knock the guy right back. Beautiful.
Another short field for the Packers, Darryl. For the fourth time today, they will start in Rams territory.
Yeah, they've been able to get points. They've got 13 points off their three previous drives that started in St. Louis territory. And here we go again. 4 drives in your opponent's territory in one game. That's unbelievable.
First and 10 from the Rams 44. Favre, pump fake. Now he throws. And James Jones was out of bounds. Togway on the coverage. Second and 10 upcoming.
Yeah, Togway did a nice job. He didn't bite on that pump fake by Brett Favre. You expected him to maybe jump that route and be able to slip somebody down the sideline. He played that very well. James Jones on the outside, not fooled at all.
Second and 10, Favre 46 yards away from breaking Dan Marino's NFL record for career passing yards. Looks to set up the screen. It's knocked down, nearly intercepted by Victor Adianju.
Should have been intercepted by Victor Adianju.
We talked earlier about getting the hands up. That's exactly what happens right here. It's a nice job on the short pass to Grant. Defensive lineman getting his hands up, doing what he can to go and obstruct the view or tip the ball.
4 consecutive incomplete passes thrown by Favre. Started the game 9 for 9. Third down at 10.
Look at everybody up here at line of scrimmage.
Here they come. Favre, Jennings wide open. Greg Jennings walks it in for a touchdown.
Wow, did somebody blow coverage.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
They're talking about it right now in the end zone. Ron Bartel, Oshimago, and Tugway. They're trying to figure out who is supposed to be there. Here comes all your pressure. 2, 4, 6, 8 guys. They're all coming. Wow, they both jump the underneath route. Ron Bartel, Oshimago, and Tugway both jump the little crossing route and turn Greg Jennings loose on the deep route.
For Jennings, his 12th touchdown this season. Favre is now 1 yard shy of tying Dan Marino.
John Ryan.
Jennings with a touchdown in 5 consecutive games. Only 3 receivers, Darrell and Tony, have more touchdown receptions in the entire league than Greg Jennings. Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Braylon Edwards. Mason Crosby adds the extra point. The Packers' lead is now 27-14. Back in St. Louis, Packers lead the Rams 27-14 following Brett Favre's second touchdown pass of the game.
Very fortunate on that play. They got into a 3rd and 10 situation, and we've got a miscommunication between Ron Bartell and Oshimago Otugwe. We're going to show you that after the kick. They were not on the same page the entire pre-snap time. Trying to sort that out, but they both jumped the short one. In that decision, if I'm not sure what we're supposed to do, I'd rather have 2 guys back deep than 2 guys jumping the short one.
Derek Stanley on the return out to the 21.
And we'll go back and take a look at it pre-snap. I mean, here's Ron Bartell. Here comes Oshimago Otugwe right there into the screen. Okay, now watch them. They're going to be talking, chatting. Not sure. Here's Greg Jennings. Here's your guy that scores the touchdown. Here he is right here. He's the inside receiver. Watch, both of these guys are going to jump him. Boom, they both sit on the short route. There he goes. So when in doubt, I think I'd rather have 2 guys down deep, Goose. What do you think?
Absolutely. Don't jump that short route. I mean, give him the first down. Don't give him the points.
So Favre now with 182 yards in the air today. 1 shy of tying Dan Marino. 2 yards away from passing Marino's all-time record. Steven Jackson on the first down handoff from Bulger, and he gains a couple.
You know, if we saw that confusion from up top there, Moose, you know Brett Favre saw it, and that's exactly what he went to when he saw all that confusion with those defensive backs.
Oh, I got to give credit where credit's due, Tony. I called you out on your nugget theft. That was actually Coach Barry Alvarez who came up with that one. We knew that somebody had jumped it, but he noticed pre-snap that that Ron Bartell and then O.J. Otugwe couldn't get on the same page as to who was going to be deep.
Coach Alvarez joining us in the booth today in preparation for the FedEx Orange Bowl on Fox. January 3rd, here's Jackson. Steven Jackson out to the 27-yard line. Nick Barnett made the tackle.
We might have to hire Alvarez as our spotter up there. Did a nice job.
Well, the BCS Bowl Bash coming up on Fox. Gets underway on January 1st. And it will culminate with the All-State National Championship game. Tostitos Fiesta Bowl January 2nd. FedEx Orange Bowl January 3rd. Kansas and Virginia Tech. 3rd down and 4. Bulger's pass is caught. Bennett took a big hit, but he's able to hang on to the football. And he picked up a first down. He was drilled by Aaron Rouse. Speaking of Virginia Tech, Rouse, a rookie 3rd-round draft pick, former Hokie.
Well, here's some of that anticipation by Mark Bulger, but he needs to help Drew Bennett out and anticipate the fact that the safety's coming down to put a big hit on his guy.
So a new set of downs for the Rams. From the 40, play action. The pass is caught by Randy McMichael, who's tackled at the 44-yard line by Brady Popenga. Carolina has taken a 3-0 lead over Seattle, and that is good news for Mike McCarthy and the Packers. A Packer win and a Seattle loss, and Green Bay would clinch a first-round bye.
And then they'll be shifting to the second game on Fox today, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles down at Texas Stadium, to see if Philadelphia can help them out.
Eagles have lost 3 consecutive close games. Here's Jackson. Jackson out to the 49-yard line. Cowboys with a record of 12-1. Cowboys and Eagles coming up next. Some of you will see the Lions and the Chargers. Packers at 11-2, but if they were to finish with identical records, Cowboys won the head-to-head matchup. 37-27. So Green Bay would have to finish a win ahead of Dallas in order to get home field throughout the NFC playoffs. 3rd down and 2. Bulger from the shotgun. Pass incomplete.
Right, you don't see that very often.
No, Isaac Bruce started to run before he had possession.
That's an opportunity to get a new set of down. Or
Looks like the Rams will go
they're
for
going to
it
go
here.
for it, yeah.
Down.
Isaac Bruce, very sure-handed. Coming in motion, whips right out. They get a good matchup. Isaac Bruce against A.J. Hawk, wide receiver against linebacker.
Well, on this short yardage, you better know where Steven Jackson's going to be. Because the way he's been running, that's the guy who's going to be getting the ball on this play.
True 101's out here at the top. Think they go for everything on 4th down, Goose?
Well, the toss to Jackson, and Steven Jackson has a first down. Tackled from behind by Nick Barnett. Jackson needed a little over a yard, and he gained 8.
You do that quick little flip to the outside. A lot of confidence in your wide receivers that they're either going to release down the field or be able to get a block on the outside, because Steven Jackson's going to get on the perimeter right away. And look, there's nobody coming from outside. A good job by Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt blocking on the outside. Now it's just a foot race to the first down marker between Steven Jackson and Nick Barnett.
Jackson with 142 yards on the ground today. From the Packers' 43, Pittman gains just 1 as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, how about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They go into the snow in Pittsburgh. I guess weather doesn't affect those Florida teams like we think. It doesn't affect David Garrard. He finds Dennis Northcutt for a 55-yard score. Guys, Garrard on the season, 16 touchdown passes, 1 interception, and right now he's got his team up big in the 3rd quarter.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Jaguars have won 4 of their last 5 games. Steelers have not lost at home this season. 2nd and 9 off the play fake. Bulger's pass is short, intended for Pittman with Nick Barnett on the coverage. We are told the Tennessee Titans, with a record of 7-6, have just taken a lead over the Kansas City Chiefs, 19-17. Seattle Seahawks have kicked a field goal. They are now tied with Carolina, 3 apiece. 4th quarter. Seahawks have already clinched the NFC West. They will head to their 5th consecutive postseason. 3rd down and 9. Penalty marker.
Delay a game there, Kenny.
Time clock ran all the way down.
I'll tell Ron Winter to turn his mic on too next time.
Well, Mark Bulger's over there, John, with everybody on the Packers defense. At first I thought he felt that the clock needed to be reset. He wasn't happy. I think he saw something different. And then he was walking over. Then he got into a little jawing match with some of those Green Bay Packer defenders. Not what you expect from a Mark Bulger when you meet him on a Friday or a Saturday in a player meeting. Different personality out there on the field on game day.
That adrenaline will make you do crazy things, Moose.
Bulger on 3rd and 14. The catch is made by Bennett. Picks up a first down. He takes it to the Packers 31. A 16-yard catch and run by Bennett.
Well, here's another example of some miscommunications. First, you got to have the time to get the ball off. Antonio Pittman's going to do a good job stepping up, picking up Atari Bigby. They've seen that blitz before. They get it sorted out that time. Tremont Williams, I don't know if that was a blown coverage as much as it was a good route design. It looked like Tremont Williams got caught just trying to get to the outside. You had a go route going right up the field, and then you're running that quick out. I think he just got caught in the release of the other receiver.
Bennett with a team-high 4 receptions. Here's Jackson inside the 30, and that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter here in St. Louis. The Packers adding to their lead. Steven Jackson slow to get up onto his feet. Third quarter will come to an end with the Packers leading the Rams 27-14. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Packers extending their lead in the third quarter. Now 27-14. Second and 9 for the Rams from the Green Bay 30. Bolger fires downfield off the fingertips of Torrey Holt.
Wow, he had Isaac Bruce underneath. He was the guy that I thought he was going to go to. That was a heck of a throw. I think it goes off Torrey Holt's hands. Here's Isaac Bruce on the shallow crossing part. That's who I think he's going to go to, but that ball's already out of his hand. Torrey Holt down the field. Boy, that was very close. You saw all the defenders there. But he has great anticipation. He can really drop that ball into a spot down the field, into those windows.
13th play of this drive coming up. Longest drive by the Rams today. Third down and 9. Some contact. Bennett looking for a flag. Nothing thrown by the officials. And the Rams will send out the field goal unit.
Well, the defender has the right to that spot on the field, the same as the receiver, but I don't think this one fits that bill. You make the decision at home. I think it's at least illegal contact.
So Jeff Wilkins out to attempt a 48-yard field goal from the left hash. Wilkins from 48.
They hit it fat.
It is no good. Short. Straight, but short.
Caught a little bit of turf with that one, Tony.
When we come back, Brett Favre just a yard away from tying Dan Marino's record. Brett Favre just 2 yards away from eclipsing Dan Marino. He needs 1 yard to tie. First and 10 from the 38. And Favre's pass is caught by Donald Driver, and there it is. Brett Favre has now passed for more yards in his career than any other quarterback in National Football League history.
And kind of appropriate that it goes to Donald Driver, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Packers quarterback Brett Favre has just broken through the Eagles' NFL record for career passing yards.
Well, records are made to be broken, but some of the ones that he's broken, I don't know if anybody thought that people would touch those.
Well, he touched a lot of people. I'll tell you what, we saw him earlier signing autographs, and just a class act right there.
And not only a great player, but a great ambassador for the NFL. I mean, he just has fun with everything he's doing.
Ryan Grant up the middle, found a big hole, and he takes it down to the Rams' 31-yard line before he was tackled by Will Witherspoon. A 24-yard run by Grant.
And he just hits this one on the go, and the hole is there. Credit his fullback in front, the offensive line. Look at that open up. There's your backside cutoff. James Hall, number 96. You see him down low. That's your backside contain that's got to squeeze that play down so that cutback lane isn't there.
A huge ovation a moment ago, and the fans still chanting for Brett Favre as Ryan Grant takes the handoff. You know, Tony, Favre has now thrown for the equivalent of just under 35 miles during his NFL career. Over 61,000 yards, 35 miles.
I'm sure he has a couple miles against the defenses when I played him. Got a chance to play against Brett. I'll tell you what, I've never seen a guy have so much fun, laugh, smile, always have a smile, mess with you. He used to get under the center and go and, laugh, talk to you. That's a defensive lineman. That guy really enjoys life. It's great to see a guy like that go and break records.
Second down and 11. Taken down to the 30-yard line by Grant.
Tony talked about Brett Favre just kind of smiling and having fun, and this is how he spent his day pregame. The day that he's within reach of breaking probably, really the last big career record. He's going to have them all when it's all said and done.
How many autographs do you think Brett signs per week?
I can't imagine. But you know what? He always does it with a smile. He's very gracious to everybody. Watching him down here on the field. Again, a great competitor, a great football player, but also a great ambassador for the NFL.
A penalty marker as one of the officials was knocked over. Corey Chavis made contact with Donald Lee.
Yeah, I tell you, you take the play previously where St. Louis felt they should have had an illegal contact or pass interference, and now you've got this play that's going against them. I mean, Jim Haslett is going to be furious. Scott Linehan is going to be furious.
Roy Ellis, umpire right here, gets a little banged up too after the play. Watch, gets a nice hit. I mean, man, they got it.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25, penalized at the spot of the foul. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on the St. Louis bench. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
Yeah, you just got to take those two plays back to back. And you know what? You have a season like St. Louis has had. Every ball bounces the other way. All the calls go against you. They never go your way. You've got injuries. It's just one of those seasons for Scott Linehan and his staff and his players.
So, first down for the Packers from just outside the Rams 10. Grant. Ryan Grant forced back. Play was blown dead before the ball came loose. And a penalty marker.
Yeah, they're losing their composure right now. They get a delay game on O.J. Tugway.
After the play, delay of game. Defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
They just got to keep their composure. It's been a difficult season for them. They've hung in there. They've competed. Finished the season the right way. Not today. You played too hard. I know things aren't going your way, but you know that forward progress is stopped. You know that that's not a fumble. You can't do that. You got to keep your head.
And the flag was thrown when Otagwe fired the ball down following the whistle. Second and goal from the 7. Empty backfield. Favre was under pressure and the pass was deflected at the line of scrimmage.
We saw it earlier with the pressure on the touchdown when the receiver was wide open. Same thing on the line of scrimmage. They're bringing, looks like 8 guys. 1 guy drops off, but it's tough for that offense to go and pick all these guys up. There's too many guys on the line of scrimmage, and Brett does a good job of just getting it out.
Well, he held it until the last possible second. He must have got hit so hard his communication device doesn't work anymore.
It looked like he may have been having a problem with his helmet 2 plays ago. One of the equipment managers for the Packers attempted to run a new helmet out to the huddle. It's 3rd down and 6. And a timeout called by the Packers. Trying to get the communication device in Favre's helmet squared away.
I don't know what the final resolution was. I don't know if that's a new helmet that Brett had to go to or if he's got the same one. It's not a new helmet, so they got his working in his own helmet.
That green dot indicates that is a helmet with communications in it. And only one person on the field on offense can have that at one time, and no one on defense.
There's Favre on 3rd and 6. Pass intended for James Jones. Coverage from the rookie, Jonathan Wade. So the Packers will send out the field goal unit.
I don't know if James Jones is going to get into the end zone, but he's probably going to get the first down inside the 1 yard line. If he can hold on to that one.
So Mason Crosby, who has already hit from 44 and 50 yards out, will attempt a 25-yard field goal from the left hash. John Ryan, the holder. Crosby is 3 for 3. Brett Favre, now the NFL record holder, most career passing yards as he eclipsed Dan Marino during the last Packers drive.
In today's luxury game.
The Packers have scored the last 16 points. We were tied at 14 in the second quarter. Rams go back to work from their own 20 and a first down. 18-yard gain by the tight end, Randy McMichael.
Randy McMichael.
Rams go to the no huddle, trailing by 16 points, 11 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. 3 wide receivers set. Bulger steps up, throws, complete to Jackson. Forced out of bounds by Barnett after a gain of 7. Well, Darryl, tonight at 8, 7 Central on an all-new Simpsons. Don't miss an extraordinary trip into Homer's mind. This is an episode we'll be talking about for days. The Simpsons, all new, tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on Fox. We've been trying to get into Tony's mind for quite a while.
I won't let you in.
It's not that easy.
It is not.
It's very complex up there. Second down and 3. Incomplete. Intended for McMichael once again. So a 3rd and 3 upcoming. Ironically, Favre breaks the record today against the Rams at Bulger, who attended the same high school as Dan Marino, Central Catholic in Pittsburgh.
Nugget alert! Nugget alert!
You knew that, Tony, after spending your collegiate days at Pitt.
I used to go and have an apartment right across the street from Central Catholic there. I lived when I went to the University of Pittsburgh.
A lot of studying in that apartment.
Lot of brain cells.
3rd down and 3. Rams wanted a flag. No yellow.
The coaching staff is going crazy on the sideline right now. They already got 1 flag. They don't want another one.
Then look, there's the one in motion coming on that shallow crossing route. I mean, he's got his back turned. I don't know if they deem this uncatchable.
A lot of close ones today, guys. A lot of close calls.
And they have never gone St. Louis's way.
And the Rams going for it here, guys, on 4th down. 4th down and 3. They have to get to the 48. Deflected, incomplete. Packers will take over on downs.
Pass for Bruce, incomplete.
Now, Tony, you know I know just what it's like to be involved in a season like St. Louis has gone through. We've both had a 1-15 campaign, and you don't expect anything to go your way. You got to go into those games, and you have to get to the point where I don't expect the ball to bounce our way. I don't expect us to get a call to come our way, and unfortunately, that's what it's been for St. Louis all season.
You know what, Moose? They're the seasons that you don't want to remember. You just want to wipe them out of your mind, but they're the ones that stick. That 1-15 season, that makes you play all the more harder in other seasons because you know nothing went right that time. And that 1 win, thank God you had the 1 win. You could be Miami Dolphins right now who are struggling.
They're hanging in there against your old Ravens team today.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
13-13 right now with 6:10 left.
Well, the Ravens, I think when they play the New England Patriots, that took all the win out of them. They have nothing left after that one.
I agree.
Rams 41.
Ravens have lost 7 straight. Dolphins 0-13. Still in search of their first victory. 2nd down and 6. From the Rams 41.
looked almost identical to the one at the end of the first half. You think you got somebody one-on-one on the outside. O.J. Atugwe, there you see him playing center field, gets a great break on the ball.
O.J. Atugwe of the Rams now with 2 picks today, 7 interceptions for the season. His first career 2-pick game. Bulger from the end zone overthrows Isaac Bruce.
That interception that Brett Favre looked very similar to the one earlier. Comes O.J. Atugwe over to get it, but afterwards, it's been a big day for Brett Favre, but I hate to tell everybody later on, the day that he set that record, I got him twice.
Coming into the game, Favre had thrown only 11 picks all season. Atugwe has gotten him twice today. 2nd and 10. Brady Papinga nearly made the tackle in the end zone, but Pittman able to break free, and he takes it up to the 8-yard line.
Yeah, good effort by Antonio Pittman on that. I don't know if Brady Papinga was going to get the safety, but it was going to be inside the 1.
That's the tackles that they were talking about. They got to go in and wrap them up right there. He had an opportunity. I don't know, Moose. It was close.
It was very close. Looked like his forward progress got him outside, and then Brady knocked him back in, but couldn't wrap him up.
But instead, a 3rd down and 5. Penalty marker. Bulger's pass intended for Dane Looker.
Holding. Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty and a 1st down.
We welcome those of you who have been watching the Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers. Good news for the Green Bay Packers. They will clinch a 1st-round bye with a victory here today by virtue of the Seahawks losing in Charlotte.
Well, that's what Brett Favre's message to his teammates was before this game started off. Let's get out, let's start fast, let's take care of business, let's do our part to see if we can get that 1st-round bye by the end of the day.
Bulger on 1st down, intended for Antonio Pittman. Aaron Campman knocking Bulger down. Well, Brett Favre has set another NFL record today, but we take you back earlier this season, week 2, most wins by a starting quarterback, breaking John Elway's mark. Past Dan Marino, most touchdown passes, week 4 in Minnesota. Last week, most career touchdown passes of 80 or more yards. And then today, earlier in this 4th quarter, Donald Driver, the recipient, as Favre passes Marino for most career passing yards in the NFL. Inside handoff to Pittman, and Antonio Pittman has a Rams 1st down out to the 25-yard line, a gain of 12.
Oh boy, did Charles Woodson take a big hit at the end of that run.
He's going to be sore tomorrow.
Yeah.
All day long, he's taking some big hits.
I
Man.
tell you, he kind of came in there unsure about what was going to happen, and he caught the brunt of this one. Kind of, do I want to stay up and wrap him up? Am I going to go down and take him out by his thighs? And then while you're trying to decipher that whole thing, you get popped.
Bulger fires, and the catch is made by Isaac Bruce, although Tramon Williams thinks otherwise. Gain of 20 out to the 45-yard line.
They've had spurts. This Rams offense has had spurts throughout this game where they've worked very efficiently, just can't really sustain anything.
We were tied at 14 in the 2nd quarter. Packers have scored the last 16 points of the game. On 1st down from the 45, Bulger in trouble, down he goes. Back at the 37-yard line, Aaron Campman with his 12th sack of the season.
Aaron Campman's just relentless on his pass rush. Just keeps coming, Unbelievable motor. I mean, watch him right here on the outside. Goes, there's a nice outside, just keeps coming. And it's nice when the quarterback does not step up in the pocket and you have a target to go and aim at.
Well, you had A.J. Hawk right in his face. I think Mark Bulger wanted to get rid of that. Then all of a sudden he saw A.J. Hawk and his hands up. He had to pull it back down. That gives Aaron Campbell that extra half second to get there for the sack.
And them sacks are collective. They're not just one guy's going to get things done usually.
Second down and 18. Bulger taken down again back at the 29-yard line. This time by A.J. Hawk with help from KGB. Kabir Baja via Miller, the fourth Packers sack today.
Well, there's A.J. Hawk, number 50, going up against Brian Leonard. Look at that. Chop down, get back up, get back into the play. There's a lesson for a young running back out there. You cannot cut a guy on a 5 or a 7-step drop. You can chop on a 3-step drop, but you can't cut on a 5-step drop. These guys are too athletic. They're too fast. Watch, 23, Brian Leonard chops A.J. Hawk down. Okay, I did my job. We got coverage. He's back on his feet. He's going to get the sack.
So now third down and 25 following a pair of sacks. Bulger complete to Bennett, out of bounds at the 48, 18-yard gain. It's now 4th and 7, and the Rams will go for it.
Yeah, nice job getting a big chunk back there on third down. Give you a shot here on 4th and 7.
Fourth and 7 from their own 48.
So the Rams with a record of 3 and 10, nothing to lose, will go for it here on 4th down and 7. Under 6 minutes remaining, 4th quarter here in St. Louis. Rams have to get to the Packers 45. Bulger's pass is high, off the hand of Bruce, and the Green Bay Packers will take over on downs.
Well, this is a nice route design. It should come open a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. Isaac Bruce is going to go down and whip out. You got your running back going deep down the field to clear. Just got a little cluttered up there. Mark Bulger's got to make a better throw, but it was a nice route design. He got Atari Bigby to go inside or actually stumble a little bit coming out of his break.
So the Packers, for the 6th time today, will begin a drive in Rams territory.
That has been one of those little hidden ones that a lot of people are going to forget about tomorrow. But Green Bay has had fantastic field position most of the day. A lot of it attributed to its defense and its special teams. Their special teams has been outstanding. Covering kicks, returning kicks.
Start. Offense number 89. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's on James Jones, the rookie wide receiver. Well, the big news, Brett Favre surpassing Dan Marino's all-time passing yards record. Favre completed his first 9 today. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And Steven Jackson, 143 yards on the ground for St. Louis. First and 15 following the penalty, Ryan Grant. Grant takes it up to midfield. This may be a horse collar. Tackled from behind, and a penalty flag was thrown.
Tackle by Dave Captain Ryan. Penalty flag.
Personal foul. Illegal tackle, horse collar. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Clifton Ryan, the rookie 5th-round draft pick out of Michigan State, flagged for the horse collar tackle of Ryan Grant.
Let's see the end of this. Ryan Grant running. 95, reaches out, gets the shirt. I'm the same with Jim Haslett. That's not a horse collar. The horse collar, you got to jerk him to the ground right away. Now he had a handful of jersey up top around that, but he didn't jerk him straight down to the ground. He kind of kept running, rolled up, and then took him down. Yeah, kind of something that I didn't even think was a horse collar, and I think Scott Linehan might have got another one.
Well, start.
Oh, thank goodness.
Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Right.
It should be a different rule at the horse collar inside the box there, Moose, because very rarely do you get a clean hit. Sometimes you're grabbing, reaching with your arm, and And if that's all you get, you pull a guy down. Most of the time you have an offensive lineman on you, pushing you. It's so hard not to go. You got to hold on to whatever you get. So I don't agree with that inside the box. That horse collar should be pertaining there.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy's still coaching right there with Ryan Krause. You're not happy with him on the illegal procedure.
Graham down to the 37. New England Patriots leading the New York Jets now 20-10. Looking for their 14th win of the season. Cowboys and Eagles later today on Fox. Dallas with 12 wins. Green Bay 4 minutes 40 seconds away from their 12th victory. It will be game 2 of our Fox doubleheader coming up in Dallas. The Cowboys and the Eagles.
And Dallas has got to be careful about that game, because this is kind of similar to how this game started off. Now, the Rams are 3-10, but they've got a lot of weapons on the offense. They've had a lot of injuries, but there's a potential there that if you're not ready, you could be in for a dogfight all afternoon. It was 14-14. Green Bay's pulled away. St. Louis has helped them a lot in that area. Philadelphia is that same team. They're 5-8. We've had them the last couple of weeks. They're in the top 10 offensive and defensively, one of only 4 teams. The other 3, some of your better teams in the NFL. Dallas has got to be ready for that. And then on top of that, let's throw in divisional game. People from Dallas don't like the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Philadelphia Eagle fans, and I know this for a fact from last week while we were there, don't like the Dallas Cowboys at all.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what your record is or score or how you're playing or injuries. When the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles get together, Moose, it's going to be a war.
And the fans in Philadelphia certainly let you know over the last 2 weeks now about their hatred of the Dallas Cowboys.
I like Philadelphia's organization. It's hard. You go there and you talk to them.
Come on, Moose, tell them like it is.
I just want to see them. I just want good football. That's all I want. I don't.
They were
and then all of a sudden they just start, the way it's very similar to like we are here in St. Louis, where they're right down here. And boy,
they were going at you, Moose. They were going at you, man. You just got to go down there. You just got to show them the ring.
These
you got to get them
rings
all
are like kryptonite up there.
I'm telling you, just give them one of these.
They were very interested in Moose's jewelry. We welcome those of you who are watching when the Buccaneers brought back their first ever kick return for a touchdown. Bucs over the Falcons 37-3 as Tampa Bay clinches the NFC South. So the 4 divisions have been clinched. Corin Robinson is finally taken down just shy of the first down marker. Dallas has clinched the East, Green Bay the North, Seattle the West, Tampa Bay the South. Giants take on the Redskins tonight. Vikings will play tomorrow, hosting the Chicago Bears. And here's Mason Crosby, who is 3 for 3. He has 12 points today and is now 4 shy of tying the Packers franchise record set 7 years ago by Ryan Longwell. Crosby from 46, it is good. So the rookie out of the University of Colorado now 4 for 4. Packers extend their lead as we check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, could it be? The Miami Dolphins against Baltimore. 2 minutes left. Jay Feely with a 29-yard field goal. They're up 16-13, looking for that first win of the season. But with a minute and a half to go, Baltimore is marching at the 20-yard line. We'll update you just as soon as that one's done. Kenny?
All right, Kurt, Tony, we'll see what your old coach Brian Billick has up his sleeve with the Ravens trailing the Miami Dolphins.
They got to win in regulation, Goose. If Miami doesn't win in regulation, I don't think they can go into overtime and pull that out. What do you think?
Nah, I don't think so. You never know, though, man. The way the Ravens been playing this year has been a roller coaster ride. And they just, offensively, they're notorious for turnovers and key situations. It's just a bad scene down there right now. We talked about it earlier with, the New England game. I think they gave everything they had. And when you come up short, you give everything and you try to go and make something happen, and it doesn't work out. I think all the wind in their sails were lost when they lost the New England Patriots.
Should the Ravens come back, the Dolphins would be the first team to start 0-14 since the 1980 New Orleans Saints. But the Dolphins leading the Ravens in the closing minutes. Stanley takes a knee with 3:43 remaining, fourth quarter. Packers leading by 19. And we welcome those of you who have been watching the New Orleans Saints and the Arizona Cardinals. Saints with a 31-24 victory. New Orleans reaching the 500 mark at 7-7. A look at Brett Favre, who earlier today set the new NFL record for career passing yards. Favre, of course, won the Super Bowl in New Orleans, in the Superdome following the '96 season, hoping to get back. And if he does, Darryl, it would set yet another record. The current NFL record for most years between Super Bowls for a starting quarterback, 8 years, John Elway. If Favre and the Packers should get there, and the Cowboys will certainly have something to say about it,
Nugget.
It would be 10 years between Favre's Super Bowls.
Did he come up with that, Moose?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Goose, I would tell you if he was getting some information handed to him.
No assist on that one, Tony. Will Blackmon gets a piece of that pass. Blackmon with a 2-touchdown game last week. And Mike McCarthy told us yesterday he might be the best natural athlete on the Packers roster.
Very impressive statement. And, you watched him field that punt last week against the Oakland Raiders. I mean, on the dead run, with everybody coming at you, the one thing you do know, he has no fear. That was very impressive. But, again, what Green Bay has done this season is areas that they weren't very good at last year. They have really improved, and Will Blackmon has been one of those guys that's really helped out their special teams, and that was key today. Their return game and their coverage, very important in getting them great field position.
We're down at 9 as Bulger throws it into the turf, and the Rams will punt. For those of you who joined us late, Brett Favre early in this fourth quarter with a 7-yard pass to Donald Driver broke Dan Marino's all-time record for career passing yards. And the Packers have scored the game's last 19 points. They lead 33-14.
And that's kind of been the status quo for this Rams team all season. At 14-14, there's opportunities to make plays, to maybe get a lead, to stay in this game, and they just can't do it. They haven't been able to do it this afternoon, and they've really struggled with it all season, making those critical plays during the course of a ball game.
Blackmon tackled at the 31. 53-yard punt by Jones, 5 on the return. Well, here are the previous owners of the NFL career passing record. Arnie Herber, Sammy Baugh from 43 to 58. Then Bobby Lane broke his record. Y.A. Tittle eclipsed Lane in 64. He held it for only 2 years before Johnny Unitas came along. And then in 1976, Fran Tarkenton took over the mantle. And then in 1995, it was Dan Marino, and he held the career passing yardage record for the last 12 seasons. Did you play against Arnie Herber, Tony?
I don't think so, Kenny. Maybe.
You would have sacked him.
A lot of guys.
I promise.
No, I don't want. You're giving me more credit than I deserve right now. Or maybe early in my career when I was with the Colts, maybe a sack or something. But more of a run guy. If he wasn't running back, I probably didn't see him much.
On first down, Brandon Jackson, the rookie out of Nebraska. Now, in case you're wondering why Favre is still in the game, the usual backup, Aaron Rodgers, has a hamstring injury. He's listed as the number 3 quarterback. Quake Nall, who has not thrown a pass this season, who was brought back by the Packers recently, is the number 2.
I'm still wondering.
Last time out.
You think Brett should be out? And if they run the ball, not really much of a chance.
Not much of a chance.
How about what he told us yesterday? Brett Favre hates going into the trainer's room. He has barely spent any time during his 17-year career
Superstitious, Kenny.
Yeah.
Very
but,
superstitious.
You know, the crazy part about that was the injury in that Thursday night game against Dallas. He gets hit on the funny bone, so he's got some nerve problems. You know, his two fingers aren't working. His pinky finger and his ring finger aren't really working. He doesn't even realize he separated his left shoulder until during the game that starts to hurt because his injury to his right arm on the funny bone was hurting so bad. So he gets back to Green Bay. He goes for treatment Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning. And then when the rest of the team came and started doing things on Tuesday, he never went back again.
Yeah, they had 14 doctors in the training room waiting for him. He never showed up for 3 days. So.
And the key thing you said, Darryl, in the Thursday game, it seems like whenever Brett suffers injuries that would keep anybody else out of the next game, he always has extra time. He had 10 days prior to the Packers' next game.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and I don't understand how it's happened. Somehow he played in that game after Chicago. He's played a couple times throughout his career where I don't know how he did it, and last week was just another one.
2 minutes remaining here in St. Louis. The Green Bay Packers will win on the road for the 6th time in 7 games this season. Favre complete to Driver. And Brett Favre adding to his yardage totals. A 26-yard pass play.
Well, you know, one of the things we've talked about during this game is the Green Bay wide receivers lead the league in yards after catch. They get the ball in their hands. They're very physical, very athletic, but they also help each other out a lot. Ruvel Martin had a nice block downfield for Donald Driver on that play. You know, when one of their teammates gets the ball in their hands, they're looking for somebody to block in the secondary.
So now the Packers will run out the clock. They will clinch a first-round bye by virtue of their victory today and a loss by the Seattle Seahawks. Packers will go to 12-2 for the first time since 1966, with 2 games remaining in Chicago and home for Detroit. Great job by our entire crew today here in St. Louis. As always, our producer Pete Macheska, director Michael Frank, associate directors Fran Morrison and Judy Wong, our broadcast associate Chirag Navaskar, technical producer Dan Rotante, technical director Chris Castro. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Alan Flowers. The senior vice president of production is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And our Nugget Elves, as Mike McCarthy takes a bath, Dave Corris, Ben Bulmer, Ricky Camps, and Matt Banovic. So the Packers will have a week off following the regular season finale.
A little chilly inside for Mike McCarthy on that one. Goose, did you get a week off going into the playoffs?
No, we did not.
You took the long, hard road.
Yeah, long, hard road. Played every week.
Ravens won the Super Bowl as a wild card team following the 2000 season. Darryl, I know you had a week off on a number of occasions.
Had a couple, yeah. We're fortunate to have a couple times. I tell you, it makes a huge difference. It's, you know, you set that list of things to achieve as a team going into the season. Number 1, let's win our division. Number 2, let's see if we can get. Well, number 1, let's get to the playoffs. Number 2, let's see if we can have win our division. And then you're talking about getting that playoff bye and then trying to get home field. Green Bay is going to need a little bit of help to get home field, but they're checking some boxes on that list of things to accomplish this season.
Packers win it 33-14, secure a first-round bye. They will host a playoff game Saturday, January 12th or Sunday, January 13th. Brett Favre breaks Dan Marino's record early in the 4th quarter today. He is now the career passing yardage leader in the National Football League. And to put that in perspective, Vinny Testaverde is next among active players with 15,000 less. Let's go downstairs. Brett is with Tony Siragusa.
Got the final one, man. Most passing yards. Got to feel good. Did you know it was going to Donald?
Oh, ow.
Somebody got you.
Yeah, they did. I wanted to get it to Donald. That was actually a run play. We do it all year long, throwing it to our guys on run plays, and I wanted to give him a shot.
That's it, huh?
That's it. I wish I could give you something better.
No, that was good. That was good. You look great out there. You did a great job today. Your offensive line really did well also.
Guys played well. They give you a lot of exotic blitzes and different looks. Got to us a little bit, but overall, I thought we obviously won the game, the most important thing. But overall, guys played well.
All right, congratulations, and back up to you guys.
Thanks, Goose. Congratulations to Brett Favre. For Darryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa, this is Kenny Albert saying so long from St. Louis. As we head west to Los Angeles, here's Kurt Menefee.
Welcome to the